Join. Our opportunity is to be here together, to virtually join not only with each other, but hundreds and maybe thousands of members, friends, and guests of UU congregations around the entire world. Of course, you all know my name is Reverend Lee Marie Sanchez. With my partner this morning, Pamela Flodman, Worship Committee Chair and today's Tech, AV Tech, we've selected a number of elements from the much larger General Assembly service, which we think you will enjoy. May the beautiful music, the stirring words, and the thoughtful prayers inspire all of us to keep our UU flame alive. Welcome and welcome home.
Welcome everyone to the Sunday morning worship service at the 2021 General Assembly. My name is Jennifer Crow and I'm one of the ministers at the First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, and we are so glad that you are here with us. If you're joining us live on Sunday morning, we hope you'll use the chat if you're able and let us know where you're coming in from and say hello to each other there. First Universalist Church is a faith community that welcomes, affirms, and protects the light in each and every human heart, that listens deeply to where love is calling us next, and with humility, compassion, and courage, acts for justice in the world. We do all of this as a faith community that is deeply committed to dismantling white supremacy culture and building the beloved community, a place where all can be free and feel a sense of belonging and wholeness. We welcome you to this place and space. We come to you today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, from First Universalist Church, from the shores of Bede-Makaska and the contemporary and traditional homelands of the Anishinaabe and Dakota peoples, the original stewards of this land. We come to you uplifting the name of these lands and the community members from these nations who reside alongside us. We come to you from Falcon Heights, from Brooklyn Center, and from George Floyd Square. We acknowledge the trauma that is deeply embedded in the foundation of this country, the genocide, enslavement, and ongoing occupation and oppression that has impacted indigenous communities, communities of color, and immigrant and other communities, the culture of colonization and white supremacy that injures us all. We acknowledge the communities of resistance that continue to side with love, teaching us through their persistence, courage, and creativity that another way is possible. Here in this particular place, and in all of the places that you are, we invite you to bring your full self into the present moment. Breathing in and breathing out, we connect across space and time. We heal ourselves and each other as we tell the truth in love. Welcome once again to this shared experience of hope and healing.
Let us begin, as we always do, our worship service with the lighting of our chalice. If you have a chalice or a candle nearby, I invite you to light it now. As I say the words we often say on Sunday mornings, may the light of understanding illuminate our darkness. May the warmth of caring bring us healing and peace. We are the warmth. We are the light. And now you'll be able to unmute yourselves, and we'll wait a moment for you to be able to do that, because we'll join together in our unison affirmation, and the words will be on the screen. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. And now we have an opportunity to show some love to our congregation. Our congregation is supported, as you all know, by the generous gifts of time, talent, and treasure of our members, our friends, and our guests. We hope that you will be generous with your congregation and your contribution. And remember that no contribution is too small. We literally are brought to you this morning by our donors, and our donors are you. How to do this is listed on the screens, and the information is also on the invitation, the EBlast invitation that you received by email. And so that you can go there and you can see how you would like to contribute. We've got PayPal and Tithely, and we've got that old-fashioned US post office, which is the way that I make my pledge every month. So thank you for whatever you can contribute to help secure a wonderful, beautiful community that is UUFLB. Thank you so much.
My name is Arif. Welcome to a time of prayer. I invite you to put down what you're holding. Let your body come into presence and awareness.
Yo soy Julika. Te invito a un espacio sagrado. Te invito a rezar conmigo. Join us in prayer.
Join us in prayer. Holy One whom my ancestors knew and prayed to.
Dios de mis antepasados.
God we know by many names, and God we know beyond all naming.
En el nombre de lo que amamos y lo que cuidamos y lo que buscamos.
How can love win, beloved? How? Everywhere we look, there is violence and destruction.
The land is burned and burning. The seas are boiling and rising. Countless beings lose life every single day. Where is love winning? No te encuentro, diosa de mi vida. No veo la salida a todos nuestros problemas.
My heart breaks every time I open to what's going on around me. I can't change all of this.
Es demasiado.
It is too big.
It is too much.
I am too small.
I am too alone.
Hear my prayer of lament.
Acompáñanos, Dios de la justicia. Ven a nosotros. Hear my prayer of hopelessness.
My heart is broken. May I rest, may we rest in broken-hearted silence. And I invite you to share, as you feel moved, what your broken heart is carrying. Out of this silence, I hear the voices of my ancestors.
I hear the call of the future. My great-great-grandchildren call to me.
The world is too big when I make it too big. My work, our work, is maybe not to win, but just to try.
Maybe love is already winning. El amor ya está ganando.
My great-great-grandchildren are cheering us on. You don't have to win everything, just hold the space. Just hold the space. We are coming.
Ya venimos.
Love wins when my resolve does not waver.
Love wins when I nourish even a tiny ember of hope. El amor gana cuando me pinto la cara color esperanza.
Love wins every time one of us takes one small action in the service of a wider and bigger love, a bigger we. Then hear our prayer of hope.
Hear our prayer of possibility.
Where in your life is love winning even now?
Speak it in your living room, in your bedroom, wherever you are joining us in prayer. Speak it out loud. Speak your hope.
We may or may not change the world. That is not ours to know, but love wins when we hold on to ourselves.
When we hold fast to one another.
When we keep faith with each other and make room for more and more and more to join us.
Juntos, adelante, más y más cada día.
Just hold the space. We are coming.
Amén. Bendita seas, benditos seamos todos.
May it be so, and blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla volar, sube la mar, hasta moldar la justicia de la vida. Arráigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Hi, my name is Johanna McBee. I'm a member at First Universalist Church, and I also serve on the Board of Trustees. Today I'm going to be reciting a poem by Reverend Teresa Inés Soto. It's called Everything is Still on Fire. Everything is still on fire. Despite your best efforts in addition to living, it is clear that fire or not, you must level up in what it means to thrive. Right now, that means wrestling with the truth, and the fact that everything is not your fault. I am sorry that everything is still on fire. Once hate catches the winds of not my problem blow and blaze, it is hard to stop. But hard is not impossible. Not yet is different than never. You, in community, have an answer. You have a response to systems of power and control and to the cost of suffering. You and your community together are the answer. You are not only a people of flame, but also a people of cold, clear truth. You know both where you fall short and where you flourish and where you still reach. Everything is still on fire, but all is not lost. You remain more nimble than steadfast, more unshakable than swayed by the latest rage. You are here to put out the ravenous flames and heal the world. Enough is enough. Everything is still on fire.
I have to admit, I'm in the rough. Try to forget, but it's just so tough, yeah. Hungry for peace, and whenever I ease it, the more it just breaks me down. No, but I still hang on. So if there's no pressure, there'll be no diamonds. So I don't mind it coming my way, no. I'm tired of putting out the fire. Freedom is all I desire. If there's no pressure, there'll be no diamonds. And I know I will be a diamond, diamond, diamond. I know I will be a diamond, diamond, diamond. People say they hear you, but they don't really understand. It's really so exhausting. They're trying to reach out for someone's hand. Keep on telling me it gets better. It's hard to see when all I get is bad weather. No, but still I know, yeah. If there's no pressure, there'll be no diamonds. So I don't mind it coming my way, no. I'm tired of putting out the fire. Freedom is all I desire. If there's no pressure, there'll be no diamonds. And I know I will be a diamond, diamond, diamond. I know I will be a diamond, diamond, diamond. Home for me, press on me, I don't mind seeing it coming my way. Home for me, press on me, I don't mind seeing it coming my way. Home for me, press on me, I don't mind seeing it coming my way. No. Home for me, press on me, I don't mind seeing it coming my way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a few months ago when my son made the invitation. It was the first spring thunderstorm here in Minneapolis after what felt like a perpetual winter. Henry wanted us to join him outside in the rain. Now, this might seem like a typical invitation from a kid to their family, but it wasn't for us. You see, it was just about 5 years ago, during a thunderstorm much like this one, that lightning hit our house in the middle of the night. The impact of the lightning, the sound, it rocked us awake that evening. And we went stumbling through the house, looking for each other and heading out into the rain. We lost almost everything in an instant, and we were incredibly lucky. We knew it could have been otherwise. Now, given that history, I can't say that anybody in my family really looks forward to a thunderstorm. In fact, on that night, when Henry was inviting us to join him out there in the rain, I was considering cowering in the corner of the basement. But I figured as the only adult present at that point, I should probably stay upstairs. It wasn't until the next morning that it dawned on me what Henry had been doing that night. He wasn't hiding from the reality of the rain. He wasn't hiding from the thunder and even the fires that had, in fact, returned to our city. He was out there in it. He was soaking up the joy of the first spring rain after 6 months of waiting in Minnesota. He was out there even as the lightning was lighting up the sky, going past surviving and into thriving. And he was inviting us to join him in it. I tell you this today, not just because I want to brag on my son, which I always do, just to be clear, but I'm telling you this because when I woke up the next morning and realized what he was doing, I realized he was inviting us to go past the kind of living where it's white knuckle, hold on, barely make it through, and move past that out into joy. He was reminding me that another world and another way was possible. And I was so grateful for that reminder. Now, we know something about fires. All of us do, literal and metaphorical, whether we're in Minneapolis or somewhere else. Fires happen in all kinds of ways in all of our lives. When one moment things are one way and the next they are another. This past spring, we were reeling here in Minneapolis, reeling from the trauma of the trial of Derek Chauvin, reeling from another police murder of a Black body of Dante Wright over in Brooklyn Heights. And as this was happening, there were particular words ringing in my heart and mind. They were Reverend Soto's words. They write, "Everything is still on fire. Everything is still on fire. And in addition to living, it is clear that we are going to need to level up in what it means to thrive. Everything is still on fire," they write. And in addition to living, it is clear that fire or not, we must level up in what it means to thrive. Beloveds, it is time for us to level up in what it means to thrive as individuals and as Unitarian Universalists. We are meant for more than survival, even though sometimes that is all we can do. We are meant for thriving. Our communities are meant to be spaces of collective liberation, places where we and all who join us know without a doubt their inherent worth and dignity. Places where we can be living examples of the embodied experience of what it means to be whole and holy and worthy, welcome and wanted, to know ourselves one more Redeemer here on this earth. That is what our communities are supposed to be like. We are meant for thriving. A circle wide enough to welcome us all. A love that will not let us go. This is who we are meant to be. This is the love we are meant to embody. Now, the pressure is on these days. The pressure is on, as Jake Zyrus and our First Universalist youth just sang to us, and if I am honest, I do not mind it coming our way at all. Because it is time. It is time for us to become the people we have long proclaimed ourselves to be, the people of a true, wide welcome. This is who we are meant to be. And I'll tell you, my fear is that we will continue to dream small, that we will dream small and fall victim to minuscule change and call it progress. I'll tell you, I am haunted, absolutely haunted by the story of a young Howard Thurman. Howard Thurman, who would go on to become the spiritual advisor to Martin Luther King Jr. Howard Thurman, who would go on to write words that continue to serve all those who are living with their back against the wall. It was the 1920s, and Howard Thurman was a student at Morehouse College, and he was on his way with his mentor to an integrated meeting at the local YMCA. There at that meeting, he was going to hear from the white leaders in town about their plan to create greater racial equity in the city of Atlanta. So Thurman arrived and sat down, and one of the most liberal white men in town got up and began holding forth. Great change was coming, he said. They had done something magnificent. You see, there in the auditorium in town, the seating had always been segregated, with whites sitting at the front of the theater and blacks sitting at the back. But he and his friends had gotten to work, and they had changed things there in the city. They had made it so the dividing line in the auditorium now ran down the center, running vertically, with whites on one side and blacks on the other. Wasn't this amazing progress they had made? Thurman stood and turned and walked out of the room. This was the progress he had been promised? Was this really the best that the well-meaning white folks in power could come up with? Simply a moving around of the lines that divided them? Such discouragement, so much frustration. I tell you, my fear is that we will be limited like this, now 100 years later. That somehow we will still fail to imagine progress and change big enough to be worthy of the legacy we proclaim. That is my fear for us. It was 20 years later, after that meeting at the YMCA, that the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman was called to serve the first intentionally multicultural, multiracial congregation in the United States. It was 1944. And Thurman and the people of the Church for the Fellowship of All Peoples did something more. They'd stopped moving around the lines that divided us and instead created a community that truly welcomed people of all identities, where folks had experiences of the transcendent together and felt a sense of unity, a place where they lived into their faith and moved with action out into the world. They created a community of collective liberation, the kind we are dreaming of creating now. Even in a world where the fires keep on coming, it is possible for us to level up in what it means to thrive. And this, friends, is the kind of transformation I am inviting us into as individuals and as Unitarian Universalists. Even in this society that is so broken and so soul-breaking, we are called to live lives and create communities of collective liberation, places where we can feel joy, where we can be welcomed in the fullness of who we are, and trust that we will be welcomed in love with the wide embrace that we talk about. This is who we are. This is who we are called to be. We can do this. We can level up in what it means to thrive, to be the people of the wide welcome, to be part of a love that will not let us go, to stay in the struggle, friends, until love wins. May it be so, and amen.
Good morning. Please join me in fire of commitment. I'm going to move my screen down just a wee bit. Thank you. Here we go. From the fire, please remember words that we can write and leave. Guiding hands and hearts and spirits.
Beloveds, may you each know yourselves as the beautiful and important people that you are. Each one of you born one more Redeemer in this world, whole and holy and worthy, welcome and wanted. And then, friends, may you go share this love with the world. May it be so. Amen.
If you have lighted a chalice or a candle this morning, I ask you to pick that up. You are now invited to extinguish the light, but we know that we shall continue, each of us in our own ways, to carry the light within our hearts until we meet again. And now Carole will take us out as she usually does with her beautiful rendition of Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Please join me.